PGA Championship. A pair of wins for you already this season. What have you done well so far this year, and how do you feel going into Thursday's opening round?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, the results have been good. I feel like generally I've been pretty solid across the board. There hasn't been a single, like, statistically, there's nothing that's, unbelievable, but it's just solid all around. And I've done a really good job taking advantage of the opportunities that I've had to finish high in tournaments and fortunate to win a couple times.
That's great. We'll open up for questions, starting up with here, Doug on two.
All majors are majors, Cam, but I'd like to know if this one holds any type of special meaning, just given your background.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the PGA Championship is, for our family, is a great week. You know, my dad was PGA of America professional for forever, and kind of I think embraced kind of the whole package of that. You know, was at a great club in New York, worked on the rules committee, and so yeah, this week is special for us. You know, unfortunately, he never qualified for the tournament, but was a very good player and had a number of chances to throughout his career. So, yeah, it's a cool one for us, just given his connection.
Did you ever spend much time at PGAs as a kid, just because of what your dad was doing?
Yeah, I had been to a couple. I think I went to. He officiated Baltusrol.
Oh,
I
fun.
had to be. Yeah, I was gonna say I was probably maybe 10 or not quite. And I've been to one or two more, when it gets up to the Northeast. But yeah, not a ton, but I had been to a few.
Any special privileges that week as a 10-year-old?
No, not really. No, I was outside the ropes like everybody else.
Right here, Mark on B.
Hey, Cam. As you've kind of worked your way to the point where you are now, and I know you're very much in the moment, but is there an element of you that's appreciated the success that's come because it took a bit, with all those seconds and all that kind of whatnot, as you were grinding through that, knowing you were playing good golf but hadn't gotten the results? How much more do you appreciate the fact that you've been on this run right now?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly do. I think anytime you have to wait for something, it makes it better, I think it would be, in a sense, it would be harder if I had won, a couple times early and then went a long time without winning. So now I feel like to have kind of had the, several years build up to, now winning a couple times pretty quickly, it makes it feel pretty good. I mean, to have gotten through what was at times quite frustrating and come out on the other side of it, a better golfer, and to have my name on a couple trophies to show for it, that definitely feels good.
Is there a trick or maybe something you're trying to figure out as you go now to sustaining this and not taking it for granted?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, especially given my first few years on tour, it's not too hard not to take it for granted. I mean, I'm well aware of how difficult it is to win a golf tournament out here. But in terms of sustaining it, I mean, nothing really changes. All we do out here is try to get better each day. And, for me, that just means kind of deciding what I want to accomplish on any given day, whether that's, today I want to do something with my wedges. Today I just want to see the golf course, play 9 holes. So it doesn't really change anything day to day in terms of trying to sustain it. I think I said it last week, the World Golf Rankings are based in your past play, and it doesn't get you anything going forward. So I don't think there's really any sense in trying to necessarily sustain the golf that I've played. It's just back to the same process of trying to do, what I set out to do each day and try to get a little bit better.
Jeff on B.
Cameron, you're probably aware there's a lot of interest in the golf ball you're playing. You just tell us why you've put this particular ball in play and how much distance you sacrificed playing a ball that apparently would be conforming to the new testing rules in 2030.
Yeah, I mean, I think I put it in play the same reason that everybody else plays the ball that they play. I hit it during a ball test at one of Titleist's facilities probably close to 2 years ago and didn't know anything about it. And kind of just said, hey, what's that one? Because I like the flight. And, as things progressed, I was able to test it last year at Wyndham, ended up putting it in play, and it's been there since. You know, obviously there is no conforming list, and I wasn't aware that it would have, I suppose I read something that said it passed that test, but I wasn't aware of that until very recently. So at no point was that a consideration. It was just really me, trying to optimize my golf, and it's the ball that seems to work the best for me.
Did you, compared to other balls you've tested, was there a noticeable distance loss with it?
Not particularly. I mean, I don't think any of us are really out here playing the ball that goes the farthest. I think you'd struggle to find a single person that's doing that. So, we're all sacrificing some amount of distance for other things that we feel are worth it. Control with irons, control with wedges. And for me, that's the biggest thing is being able to control spin. And this is the ball that does that the best for me.
Back to Alex on 4.
Yeah, Cameron, regarding the connections to the PGA of America beyond the connection with your father, you've also got a friend in the field representing the Corbridge Financial team of 20 PGA professionals. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Chris and the time you've gotten to spend with him this week.
Yeah, we got to play 9 holes yesterday, which was nice. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. But yeah, Chris Gabriel, we grew up playing some golf together up in the Northeast, and then went off to college, and after college he came and actually worked for my father at Sleepy Hollow for a couple of years as one of his assistants. So I got to be around him a little bit then, and now he's got his own head pro job at Old Westbury on Long Island, which is really exciting. I think he's started just recently. So great to see him kind of progress through the ranks in the PGA section up there, and really excited for him that he's always been a good player. So no surprise that he qualified at some point, and just really excited for him. Looking forward to see how he does these next few days.
And I imagine he was picking your brain a little bit out there. What were the conversations like in the fairway about having you two guys playing the same event like this?
Yeah, honestly, it didn't feel too foreign. He's a good golfer, like I said, and it was more similar to any conversation I'd have with any of the other guys out here playing. Just little things, kind of what are you doing here? What are you thinking there? But I think he's got it pretty well handled. He drives it pretty straight. He's pretty solid golfer, so I think he'll do just fine.
Doug on 2.
Just to clarify one thing, Cam, I'm back here, sorry. This ball, do you hit it farther than the other one?
No, very similar. Okay. Yeah, it's much more. The driver is kind of the easiest thing to deal with, I feel like. For me to get it where it needed to be, I had to just add a little bit of spin, and it kind of comes out at a perfectly playable range. And then for me, the biggest thing, like I said, is the irons. I mean, this ball is just easier for me to control with the irons. It doesn't spin as much, and that just allows me to be, better with my distance control just because it's more consistent.
Okay, and secondly, and sorry to bring this down a little bit, but you do have an iPhone, correct?
I do.
How would you estimate about how much time you spend on it per day, and maybe in minutes in your case? I don't know.
Okay. I mean, it depends. If I'm, it's kind of if I'm on my own on the road, it's a lot more. It's probably 4 hours or something. And if I'm at home, with my family, it's probably more on the order of half that. But, I try to be conscious of it. So I know, like, when I'm by myself, it's somewhere in the 4.5 range. And when I'm not, when I'm at home, it's, usually 2 or under 2.
What are you doing on it when you're on the road on your own? Something tells me you're not looking at social media. But
No. I don't know. I go on YouTube. I read articles. I would look at golf swing videos for more time than I'd like to admit. Yeah.
Right here, Jeff on B.
What operating system that's kidding. The golf course. your assessment, particularly, I guess, the par threes are pretty long, but just in general, what your impressions were of the golf course yesterday?
Yeah, I liked it. I feel like it's very, very classic Northeast. You know, the grasses are very familiar. The rough is pretty thick, but I feel like it's a nice combination. The fairways they're not super narrow, but they are firm enough that if you hit, you know, bad shots that land in the fairway, they can get in the rough, or if it's shaped incorrectly. And then the greens are definitely tricky. You know, you have to kind of know what kind of slopes you're landing on, especially if you don't get much rain. It's going to be a huge difference between landing on upslope or flat. So I've really liked it. You know, I haven't been before. I'm just kind of still, you know, seeing my way around a little bit. I'll play the front nine again today. And yeah, I've really liked it so far. I think, especially if we get a dry week, it could be pretty firm by the end of the week, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Mark?
Cam, obviously, those of us who know you a little bit know how low-key you are. I'm curious, you know, as you have gained success winning some of these high-profile tournaments, is there any part of you that enjoys the attention, and how do you kind of handle that, and you know, as you go?
I mean, I think it's nice for your work to be recognized. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of remarkable how much more it's recognized for winning versus coming in second. You know, obviously there is a huge difference kind of career-wise, but golf-wise it's small. So, yeah, it's been nice for that to be recognized, but at the same time, you know, I at least am trying to value the work that I put in and kind of evaluate days based on how I go about my day and not necessarily, you know, what I shot or how I finished a tournament. So yeah, on one hand, it's, you know, it's great, and I've enjoyed, you know, some of the good work that I've done to be recognized, and on the other hand, it doesn't change much, and you know, I don't want to get caught in valuing that more than, you know, what I do each day and how I feel about the work that I've put in. I'm pretty comfortable with it. You know, like I said, I think if I keep that mindset of it doesn't really change much, and I'm really evaluating other things, you know, you do a press conference instead of not doing a press conference. It's a 30-minute difference in your week. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference.
Wrap things up on one with Sean.
Cam, on the ball, one last thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like that information only reached you recently.
Yeah.
Was curious if you could just detail exactly when you found out, if it surprised you, and then if just the fact that you think it's negligible changed your opinion on maybe what the proposed rollback means.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of my opinion, it's, you know, it's not going to be up to us, I don't think. So I think that's kind of irrelevant from my perspective. You know, I haven't done the research or kind of dived into it enough to really, you know, understand the goal and how they're going to do it. So in terms of that, I don't think there's much to say. When I found out was, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it hasn't been long. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised in a sense. But at the same time, I mean, it didn't change that I had played well with it, and I was comfortable, and, you know, I feel like I'm playing a golf ball that's best for, you know, how I'm playing the game at the moment. And, you know, if that works out to mean that, you know, this goes into effect and I'm still playing the ball however many years from now, makes it an easy change. But, you know, the manufacturers are so good. I mean, they're going to find their way to make a good golf ball no matter what the, you know, restrictions are. And so it just doesn't really concern me that much, frankly.
Great. Thanks for your time, Cameron.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.